Yes, yes. Lean forward. This is good. Welcome. So we're continuing in the understanding of transcendence, transcending the mind, transcending the doer, transcending the ego, transcending the past, transcending all things in the presence of the divine that does not truly serve the divine. And so we speak about the doer and eradicating the doer and eliminating the doer and so on. And yet there appears to be quite a bit of doing and eradicating the doer, does it not? And so you see sort of this spinning wheel of conundrum, if you will, relative to the efforting of awakening, the efforting of arguing about what is enlightenment, not as enlightenment, etc., etc., etc. And so a bit of letting go and just appreciating sometimes the silliness of what the mind brings to the path of awakening can truly be enlightening in and of itself. But I would speak about the difference between the stillness of the soul, from which divine service effortlessly outflows, from which the knowing, the inner knowing of how to serve, when to serve, whom to serve, to what degree to serve, all of that is just a natural, instantaneous knowing. There's not an overthinking. There's not a conundrum of, let's figure this out. But rather there's opening, there's radiance, there's love, there's an effortless giving of one's selfless self to one's service. And so we can speak about this entire topic, this question that has been posed today, of how do we cease to engage the doer, and how do we find that sweet spot, if you will, that transcendent space where all moves into the ever-perfecting, effortless perfection. And the selfless service is radiant upon one's being, it is grace upon one's words, and it is love upon the hands that help. This really comes back to the mind that has stilled itself in the light of the soul. And the light of the soul that serves as the intermediary, if you will, that is the true knower that merely interprets from the divine how best to be of service, how best to respond. And of course, one may be called into long periods of meditation as one's service. I've been called into many, many months of silent meditation, having no contact with the outer world at all. And this was to serve a very variety of purposes, including the quelling of the habit of ego activity and the stillness that I'm speaking of, serving the stillness, the utter stillness, where all is celestial calm, all is present, all is satisfied, and anything other than that perfect divine stillness is irrelevant. And yet it is from that celestial calm, from that inner stillness of being, by which the ego is truly transcended, and the moment comes where it ceases to arise. It ceases to rise. And the radiance of selflessness, the radiance of love, the radiance of self-forgetting, of forgetting the small self altogether, in which the small self ceases to arise and no longer has relevance at all. This is a natural process, dear ones, that is furthered by service, furthered by the simplicity of love, and furthered by the letting go and letting God, and oftentimes getting out of your own way. And it is the identity with awakening, the identity with service, the identity even with the ideals of enlightenment, the thresholds of enlightenment, that indeed must become silent so that they can fall away. And in the falling away, it is the radiance of the divine that arises. It is the radiance of the divine that is in outflow through any mandate, life purpose, project, service, endeavor that you are called to express your exquisite nature, what is true in your unique flowering of your soul and the unique flowering of the path that you tread. For awakening is not something that is an ultimate destination. It is always an omni-awakening process, if you will. And enlightenment, this old Rishi will assure you, merely allows mastery to truly begin. And so it is a beginning, if you will, of its own, this thing we call enlightenment. It's the beginning of where mastery truly is nourished and illumined to flower. So think on this, settle in, be still, and see what arises within your own being.